Beautiful people at the Liminal village. It's pretty hard, but I see you're all very, very much awake for the next discussion panel. That's so good. The next one, in the next panel, will be reflecting on what the development of the Psytrance Festival scene is worldwide. Where are we at now? And what can we learn from experiences in different scenes and in different countries? And I would please I want to invite you to welcome the representatives of Boom Festival, Origin Festival, Ozora from 2004 to 2011, Doof Festival, Hadra, Momento Demento, Symbiosis, and of course our moderator, Arthur. Yes, you can have a grand applause right now.
Hello. Welcome to one more session of the Psytrance Convention. We are very honored to have you all here. So first I would like to introduce our guests, starting with the Eastern European side. Val, please, can you just introduce who are you and what's your festival?
Testis. It's working. Hello, I'm Val Vašar. I'm representative of Momento Festival from Croatia. So,
My name is Balazs. I used to be the organizer for Ozora Festival until 2011, and then went on to do some festival. At the moment, I'm festival-less, but here I'm working with Arthur.
Hi, I'm Regan. I, along with my wife, ran an Origin Festival in Cape Town. It's one of Earth Dance Cape Town as well, and I have Nano Records.
Hello, I'm Bosuke. I'm with Symbiosis Gathering in Northern California, and
Hi, I'm Shachar Zirkin from Doof Festival, Israel.
Hi, I'm Olivier from France for Hadra Festival.
And same for me. I'm David from Hadra with Olivier.
All right, so we try to bring people from all over the world to share this moment with all of you. You are festival people, these are festival people as well, and we would like this to be as much more interactive as possible, so have as much ideas and questions to share with everyone here, put up your doubts, and let's make it as much rich as possible. A lot of these people here on this table, most of the times they are behind the scenes, they are not on the stage, they are not on the decks, they put a lot of effort, they put a lot of energy in creating environments where people come together and dance and make new friends. So one of the most important things is also the vision behind the festival. So we would like to, first we can do a round. What kind of vision do you guys feel as part of the Modem, which is a festival that has been growing a lot in the last years as a, let's say, a mid-sized festival. Croatia nowadays and Eastern Europe nowadays is one of the hot spots in Psytrance. So Val, I would like to ask from you, what kind of vision do you guys try to develop there? It's a beautiful location, and it's really cool to be there.
so first I need to say it's my point of view. I'm the part of the organization. The rest of organization should be somewhere here. So a lot of Psytrance scene where I'm coming from came from punk, and in Croatia it's DIY or die. So do it yourself, and don't expect nobody to put the money to give you nothing. So Tommy's idea was to put something seen in Europe, in the world. So to do Croatian production, Croatian way. So it's do it yourself. Let's build something that's you could see in Europe, but do it Croatian way. So we're trying to do this for 5 years. It's growing and growing. So I don't know. It's for me. I will say also this is the vision. Emma Goldman, she's an anarchist, really big inspiration. She said, if I cannot dance, I don't want to be a part of your revolution. So this is the idea that is growing behind Modem Festival. Momento Demento is we want to have fun, but behind fun we want to make something bigger. That's that.
Very nice. It's a very strong DIY philosophy, which is quite interesting, and also I can see how Croatia and the old Yugoslavia were so politically engaged. Actually, the Exit Festival, which is a very mainstream festival in Serbia, also come from that background in one way. Close to Croatia, there is Hungary, and Balazs was also one of the igniters of this festival back in 2004. Some of you might know that Ozora started not as Ozora, but as a solar eclipse festival in the late 90s. And then they were off, and then in 2004 they kick off again. And in which way do you think that the evolution of the festival and how it has been important, that nowadays is one of the biggest Psytrance festivals in the whole world?
Well, first of all, I think where the whole thing started is that we as kids got into the scene very early, and first and foremost, and it's still true, we are fans of the music, fan of the culture. We believe in the whole psychedelic culture itself. So when we thought that it was such a beautiful event in 1999, as you said, for the solar eclipse, we thought that it cannot go in vain and sort of have the 5-year anniversary and let's start something else. Obviously, people have forgotten a little bit about the 99 event. And so we started off from scratch and trying to put Hungary and Ozora back on the map. But it was the basis was just the love for the culture and love for the music, love for the artist. Just in general, it was something that we could manifest our energies and love and do something. And we tried our best, and people thought they were doing a good enough job, I guess. So that's it.
Everybody should be proud about that. One of the common traits about most of the festivals here is that there is a huge sense of passion. Most of the people that are doing Psytrance festivals, but also artists, they are most of the times dance floor people. They are people that love to dance, they love to have fun. It's not something that is top down. It's something that is really people for the people. And one of the hot spots as well in the world is Cape Town. And Regan has been one of these very strong vehicles to spread the Cape Town scene to the whole world through Nano Records, through Nano Bookings, and also, of course, as Origin. But also, we all know, actually, there was also a Solar Eclipse Festival back in the day, and the Millennium Festival in South Africa. So, Regan, when did you guys started that was important to make also a festival there, the Origin?
Well, particularly with Origin in question, I mean, we had a really strong scene, amazing people who, kicked the scene off in Cape Town and South Africa itself. And I think it was from my travels, my wife's travels, traveling to Europe, particularly seeing festivals here, wanting to bring back an element of just the universal approach of festivals, the universal appeal and the global appeal. Really want to bring that to Cape Town. And let people in Cape Town know, because it's quite isolated at the tip of Africa, and we wanted them to know that because not everyone can get out of South Africa. Like, you're part of this global scene. This is what would blow us away. We'd come to Boom, or we'd go to other festivals around Europe. Like, this is such a global, amazing community, and we wanted people to get a sense of that. And yeah, that was the focus. Obviously, from the beginning days, it's always been about the music and the passion and the art, and we love it. We were joking the other day with a promoter somewhere online about that. I think it's an affliction. We were deciding if it's an affliction or an addiction. Doing events, we can't quite make up our mind. But other way, we can't not do it. You have to do it for some reason. It's a joy. At the end of the festival, what it's like. Or during the festival, you can see people so happy. People can, transforming in front of your eyes. I think that's always been like our biggest drive, is just creating a space where people can come be themselves, meet others like themselves, and hopefully have a transformational experience. And we've seen that time and time again. So I think that's the bug. It's like, okay, well, we're doing something good here. We've got to, just keep on doing that, because it's making the world a better place. Yeah. And ultimately, that's what we want.
Yeah, I totally resonate with that, in a way, it's kind of soldier of happiness, the people that are doing festivals. And in the United States, actually, this resilience is probably bigger than everywhere else in the world, because although these guys have California, which we all know is one of the most important psychedelic hotspots in the world, the Psytrance scene, and actually most of the electronic music scenes, although like techno and house and others born there, they would never kick off. So why did you guys in Symbiosis, probably you guys could choose drum and bass or hip-hop, why did you guys went into Psytrance?
I grew up going to Grateful Dead concerts with my family, and so grew up in that psychedelic scene. So that psychedelic culture in America was pretty much how I grew up. So that was my life till I was like about 20, and I left the country and started traveling, and then I gradually came to end up at these Psytrance parties, which I didn't quite understand at first. So I, took a bunch of acid and got on the dance floor, and then I kind of figured it out. And then I wanted to go home to the States and share this with like the people that I thought were really cool and conscious people with the earth and into like the psychedelic reality. So then I went back home, and then I ended up at Burning Man, and Burning Man's a whole another thing that's a psychedelic culture. And so at that point I was like, well, I want to really marry these different psychedelic cultures together, because it's like a lot of people like different types of music. If it's trance, if it's like drum and bass, or if it's just like psychedelic rock, it's pretty big in the United States, all the jam band cultures. So trying to bring all that together as one symbiotic thing where we can all come together, and we might like different musics, but we kind of are the same people. They have dreadlocks, they kind of have clothes that they made in Bali or for homemade, or it's tie-dye or whatever. They're all like vegetarians or this, so like pulling them all together, and so bringing the arts and the music. And Psytrance is like the core foundation of what we do at Symbiosis, because it really makes a good party. It's like, as long as there's like a little Psytrance stage somewhere, I think the whole party feels that vibration. So we hold that down pretty well in America, even though the scene isn't that big. But we're going to try to bring it to the next level next year. There's a total solar eclipse coming up in Oregon, in just north of California. So we're going to do a 7-day festival, and we're going to bring the trance there like it's never been brought, and hopefully people will come out.
Nice one. One of the most, as you all know, one of the most, let's say, places where music has a huge, strong power is Israel. And Shahar is here as part of the Doof Festival. And it's amazing how the music has been used and Psytrance has been used to kind of create some sort of harmony, but at the same time some sort of catharsis at that country. Some of you, if you ever been to an Israeli party, the energy that you see in the dance floor is something, beyond standards, because there is so much energy put there. So why do you guys are doing Doof, which is regarded as many Israeli people as the one that has still the spirit quite strong? Why has been the reason for you guys to do it and keep doing it for so long?
Well, first of all, it's because I like to dance. I like to take acid and dance, and I was traveling we were traveling in Europe, and we saw the festivals, and that was the first step. But then we found out that, well, as you probably know, Israel is a country with loads of conflicts, and we have many people from everywhere and different opinions, and lots of stress also. And we found out that the party really helps you to get the energy out, to get all this. You can call it aggression, but you can also call it energy. So therefore, the parties really lifted up the energy and got many people from different kind of people that they wouldn't meet just in the normal days, and they're all together in the dance floor, and the harmony goes out really, really great. So part of it is just dancing and let yourself go with the flow, and part of it is just to unite everybody into great event.
Thank you for sharing. And now we go to France. French people is going everywhere in the festivals. There's always a huge population. Although we all know that the French scene in many ways is more based in technivals, these underground parties, because the police and the licensing has been really, really strict for many, many years. And you guys have been also very resilient to keep doing other with all the challenges you have, and we all know that it's quite difficult to do events there. So how do you guys keep having the force and the drive to keep doing it? And what is the main vision behind it?
Well, in fact, we started Hadra a few years ago before some people went to the Solar Festival in Ozora, at the Ozora place. And when they come back, we decided all together to create something to make people discover this kind of music. Because as you say, there was lots of technical free parties, which is a very different kind of music and spirit. So we wanted to take what we saw in Hungary and bring it to France and show it to people.
Yeah, it's a bit the same for me. I discovered Psytrance Festival in Boom 2000, and that changed my life totally, actually. I love this music. I was amazed to see people from so many countries, Japan, Brazil, everywhere. Everybody around the same music and same spirit. And when I got back to France, I wanted to try to bring such nice festival in France, because we had no festival, only technical, like you say. I'm also from this side of music, electronic music. I was more hardcore, art techno, but when I discovered the Psytrance culture, I just love it. And so Hadra is just a bunch of people who love this music. We love to dance. Everybody go to festival every year, and we are just all volunteer to trying to make something like this in France, even if it's hard with regulation, and it's getting very, very hard now.
Yeah. Yeah, we agree. I think it's quite common that we all have, if in one way we have all these peace and love ideals that come from the hippie culture, we also have the punk ideals of the do-it-yourself. And then with technology and this planetary culture and the interconnectedness, I think that kind of puts all the ingredients for the scene as we live. There is many people in the Liminal village here that are also festival organizers. I would like to ask you guys to start to interact with us. So if there is any microphone, would be nice if you guys can start to shout some questions to the people that are here on stage before we can keep going with some of our geeky conversation about festivals.
Hi there, Rob here with Fractal Tribe and Fractal Fest in the U.S. Have any of you experienced starting a scene completely from scratch? Like there's nothing even going on, so you just start it with like a bunch of friends. It just keeps on growing and growing and growing, opposed to like already tapping to a scene that already existing and giving them something new and fresh.
Can start. I think in Portugal, the Boom is a good example. Like the founders of the festival, they start the whole scene. And the whole scene is also Psytrance very strong. Actually, in Portugal, it might be stronger than house or techno, because you have thousands of people every week doing parties, and also we have the Boom Festival. So this is a good example of how a vision could develop something. But it would be nice to have all your...
Actually, S.U.N Festival, which happened for the first time in 2013, one of the founders, DJ Oleg in Hungary, he actually founded, with a few friends of his, founded the Hungarian Psytrance scene, getting mixtapes and mixing them in forest parties with their friends, 30, 40, 50 of them. And so he played a pivotal role in creating the Hungarian trance scene, along with some other guys. But yeah, I'm quite proud to have known him for a long time and to have shared many success stories and a lot of joyous moments with him. Early years of Ozora when he was involved, and then again with the S.U.N Festival.
So to reply on your question, in Croatia we had a small Psytrance scene, but then when we started doing a Psytrance festival, then we got the idea we have a bunch of DJs, a bunch of musicians, but then for a Psytrance festival you need a whole lot more, and we started to import workers, not just workers, but ideas from outside. Because in Croatia you can make with the DJs, you can make 7 days festivals, but nobody could build a stage. Nobody could build the compost toilets. So Psytrance festival and Psytrance scene can be a little bit different, but also they build up. You cannot have one without other. Maybe it's the best way to start small and then build it up to the festival.
Can you get a microphone?
Oh, you've got one.
we go. Yeah, it's just interesting because when we started out, we have like 1,100 people attending our festival now. We started out with literally like 4 or 5 friends that like Psytrance, and nobody in the region knew anything about it. So it's just like there was no scene to tap, there was nowhere to promote, there was nothing, and it was just interesting to see if anybody has started from absolutely like no scene to even tap to. You can't go and hand a flyer, nothing. Just nobody even knows what it is. What the hell is Psytrance?
Okay, also it depends. Croatia, whole Croatia is 4 million people. There is villages in USA that's bigger than whole of the Croatia. So it depends.
I mean, I've been lucky enough to see the Psytrance scene in Cape Town come up from what essentially seemed like nowhere. Obviously, it came from somewhere. And another scene completely separate from that, it's not a Psytrance scene, which friends of mine in Cape Town really promoted, which was a Balkan music scene. And the precursor for that, but was the music. Both of them, that's the thing that pushed out in front of everything first, and the quality of the parties. If you're doing a really good party, the word will get out that you're not really into that music, but geez, it was such a good party. We had the best time. Production was great. People had a great time. Left with smiles. The music's good. That's also going to make them leave with smiles. And that's, I think, for me, I've seen that's the secret to success.
More questions. Let's put 2 more questions, and then we keep going.
So we all know that Israel has a big influence in psychedelic trance. I would like to know exactly if you can tell us with a little bit more detail how it is, how does the culture relate to the conflict, and how do you think that the culture can make a positive influence in the region?
Good question. It's good question. First of all, that's not pink, okay? Just, yeah. Well, you see, in the beginning, when it started Doof Festival, we didn't really think about the conflict, and we didn't really think about how that's gonna resolve things. We just wanted to dance. And then in the first few years, when it was still small, there will be mostly only Israelis like me going to those parties, and the conflict was not really an issue in that party. But then later, when the rumors spread out, then people from all over Israel start to come, and that's Israeli, Arabs, Palestinians sometimes. And in the festival, you don't really know who's from where. You don't really care who's from where. So in that aspect, it really unite the people. Also, we have some people coming from Europe, so they're all coming together. And I do have a feeling that during this time of the festival, when it's actually taking place, you really forget who's coming from where and who is with conflict with who. Unfortunately, this is still not that big that it would influence all the political map. But we have a really small challenge, and we try to make it as good as possible for everybody to join in.
Good. Thank you so much for sharing this sense of inclusiveness and sense of release the pressure that festivals can also do in problematic spaces. So is there anyone else that wants to throw a question? And then we can talk a bit about the challenges we all face as festival people.
Hi. Yeah, sorry maybe for this question, but we know that drugs are related to a Psytrance festival. I mean, that's maybe a good thing. We can discover ourselves with responsibility and so on. But how you guys deal with then the political leaders around how do you present it because you have to get the place and so on. So I just wonder that.
I can talk on the behalf of Boom, and then probably 2 more of you guys can talk. The way we deal, first, substances are related with all kinds of music. There is more deaths of overdoses in rock than in dance music, ever. And they're also part of the human history along the centuries. So it's not something that only belongs to dance music culture. This is a media dogma that they put and a stigma that they put because they never wanted to kind of interpret this as a social and artistic and music force, especially in the 90s. For instance, in Boom, we are very fortunate that the decriminalization law went through in 2001, and that allowed us to do the Cosmic Care, as you see there, which is a partnership we have with the university in Porto. And also we can do the check-in, which is a drug testing service that we have. So basically in Portugal, drugs are not considered a matter of crime, are considered a matter of public health. And these allow us to do a lot of human service in the festival grounds. So imagine if you are on the queue testing your substance here at Boom, police cannot do nothing because they believe this is a health situation, not a situation of crime. This is just the political context, of course. It has a big impact, and this is one of the main reasons, like in many countries of the world, this scene is not going stronger because there is still a huge stigma about drugs. But I would like to probably have more input from you guys.
Yeah, I'm asking especially maybe for Hadra because I know that in France there are quite a lot of difficulties for that. So.
Yeah, it's totally different for us. We cannot have checking your drugs at the festival. And they are quite strong with us about this, with a lot of police checking before the festival, inside the festival, also for us, the crew. We got checked during the festival, and they are not open at all with that, I would say.
Me coming from a post-communist country, such as Hungary, I think some of our culture is very different from, I would say, an enlightened political view on drugs, such as in Portugal, where it was decriminalized. But with any post-communist country, what you have to know is corruption is and connections are still very important when making a festival. So I think on the basis of when economic benefits to surrounding areas push and way over the political, how should I say this? Political benefit of making a story out of it, I think that's when you have the solution.
All right. So one of the things that as we see, for instance, now, is that every country has their own legal context, and this also creates a lot of challenges. So it would be really cool that you guys point out, for instance, some of the biggest challenges you have as festival organizers. Would be really nice that people would understand that this is not a sea of roses. This is really a tough job with a lot of barriers that we have to put down. Can you please talk about what are the main challenges in France, for instance?
In France, the main challenge is to find a place and get all the authorization. It's getting very hard now. And in fact, we need the permission from the mayor of the town, from the mayor of the area, and the state. We found some places would be nice for the festival, but the mayor didn't want the festival in his town. We found some mayor wanted us, but with no place, etc. And the most difficult thing is to find a place. That's why Hadra Festival had already 4 different places. We have to move because they don't want us anymore. So it's quite hard. And to build a good festival, I think we need to stay on the same place and to learn years after years where was the mistake. So the most difficult thing is to get the authorization. And I think we are the only Psytrance festival in France which are totally legal.
Sirkin, how about Israel? What do you have to face?
You know what we have to face, eh? So, first of all, Israel is a very, very small country. So, location-wise, same as you guys, it's very hard to find. We also have to get the mayor blessing and then go on to the state. The police is really, really hard in Israel. And it's not mainly about the drugs. It's mostly about they're really afraid that something will happen in the festival, during the festival, to someone, and then they will have to get the blame on that. So they really squeezed the juice out of us, and this year it was almost impossible to make. We make the festival already 14 years in the same spot, and it's getting very difficult. We're thinking of moving next year to another spot. So mainly it's the police thing, and they can cancel your festival. Well, you can get all the authorizations and everything, and then like 2 days before they decide they don't want it to happen, and you have to fight them in court. And we already done this, and luckily we won, but it's not getting any easier.
For instance, in Portugal, of course, things are tough, but we are lucky that this country is quite touristic, and at the same time, there was kind of a cultural policy in the last, especially 10, 15 years, where the municipalities were using music, and especially world music or events, to bring tourists and to create some kind of cultural and economic impact. So this makes that it's quite easy to talk with the political people, with the politicians, because they are open to have inputs from organizers, from promoters that want to bring some value to the location where they are based. Of course, then it enters the stigma. For many people, Psytrance is drug people. They are troublemakers. They are thefts. They are people that for them they are outlaws. And this was happening here in 2002. This has been happening in many places in Portugal. But as the years go by, they see that it's nothing to do with it. It's just prejudice. But in one way, in Portugal, it's very difficult some regions to have weekend parties, although there are dozens of parties on a weekly basis. But at the same time, the context to do festivals is very alive and kicking. There is festivals everywhere in all municipalities of the country, and this makes a good basis to do events and Psytrance festivals as well. But in one way, the States and California are also very challenging. So Bosque, what are the main challenges there in California?
Well, the hardest thing to do is find a venue that you can fit everyone and you can play music all night long. There's lots of festivals in California and America, but most of them the music turns off at midnight or 2 a.m. So part of the whole sunrise experience and having music play all at night has been part of our core beliefs, and so it's been really hard to find venues. Grown out of some venues, or got kicked out of some venues for whatever reason. So we've gone through 6 different places over the years, and which makes it interesting to like learn at logistics of new places, which is always a difficult thing. Once you start figuring something out, then you have to move, which then is difficult for the costs, because then you have to put in new energy into infrastructure. I dream of having a place like this where you can put your energy in and it just stays there for the next year, and then the next edition. And so that's the ultimate dream of being able to like own land. So festivals like Boom, where they have a long-term agreement or purchasing the property. It's a really good, more sustainable way than setting something up and taking it down.
And in Cape Town, Regan, do you guys have tough challenges or just easygoing?
I don't think anyone on this panel has it easy ever. And it's the same thing coming up every time. We're all saying the same thing. Venues are tricky because you're head-butting with communities, head-butting with landowners. You're trying to create a space that, especially most of these events are in rural areas, and people are normally used to a few cows and some corn, and now you've got this going on in the background for a week. I can understand why some people might think the circus has rolled into town and they've brought the freaks with them and get terrified by it because it's the other. We're always scared of the other. We don't know what it is. So it's that same thing, winning them over, being open and honest and positive all the way through. We've always put our cards on the table and said, this is what we're doing, this is what it's about, this is how we're approaching it, these are the issues that people might talk about, this is how we're going to deal with it. And number one is dealing with the local community. Don't just come in there like cowboys and think, we're going to do our thing and leave. It's not going to benefit anyone. You're trying to create a community here, but this psychedelic community extends further into the community that isn't necessarily interested in that, but we live together. We still have to live with them. So you need to merge those two together. But yeah, venues always an issue. Logistics, changing venues and logistics always an issue. But I think if you stick with it and you're open and honest with everyone around you, it comes together.
Well, as you mentioned before about the whole situation in Eastern Europe or post-communist context, that you have to have proper connections and serpentine approach. Can you tell us a bit more what were the biggest challenges? And I was familiar with many things that you've been facing in the last years.
Yeah, as Regan has mentioned, I think one is the local community, very important. I mean, you are entering their space, their area that they've lived very happily, peacefully, without kids doing drugs, jumping around, and doing hippie stuff. So they were just very well off without us. And so, yes, you have to go in with caution, and it's very important. It's a different generation most of the time in small local villages. They really do not want their lives to be disturbed. I would say that's one of the main challenges. And the other one, which we talked about just a little, is the location. I mean, I have learned, luckily I did have a partner at Ozora, the owner of the land, who was a person in agricultures, and he knew his land like no one else. At any moment, at any point on his land, he would know where if the rain falls, where he would end up, where you can put the nail down, what you can do on that land. Maybe the soil is a little bit different on one side of the hill and the other. So knowing the land that you are doing an event, I think is crucial. It's what will make the festival go on, or you might have to look for another other space. So just knowing the limitations and what challenges there are. Why is it green? Because it rains a lot. Why is it not green? Because it doesn't rain. And that, of course, relates to doing your decoration, saving people from the rain, wind, whatever dangers there might be that the environment throws at you. And it's always the environment that wins. So
absolutely. Val, and Croatia.
So when I hear you, I must say we in Croatia are blessed with everything, because location is the easiest to find. Momento Demento Festival also, we are blessed with our landowner who gave us everything, really helpful. But the worst thing is when I listen with the Portugal, it's same in Croatia. Croatia became this mecca for the festivals. And a lot of festivals coming to Croatia and coming to the local community says, we're gonna give you jobs. And then the local community says, really, you're gonna give us jobs? Because when you go somewhere, you need to know where are you going to. So you need to know Croatians, same as French guys, same as Israelis, same as Americans, South Africans, Hungarians. Especially in the small communities, they're proud people. They're people living off the land. They're people who build, like my grandfather built that road. So they're very proud people. And when somebody from outside comes and said, I'm gonna give you a job, they said, fuck off. And then there is a lot of, I don't know how to say, but they don't believe us. So you need to soften it up. When you say, we're gonna build something after the festival, or we're gonna give it back to the community, you need to give it back. So for us, it was many years of working. And maybe if we said we're gonna give 10%, we give 20% because they don't believe us. Now when we come, you see the smiles on the faces. Because people know, okay, for them they're gonna earn some money. But yeah, the worst thing is a lot of broken promises, a lot of, sorry for the word, but bullshit. So in Croatia, God thank you. We are blessed with the locations and everything, and I don't know.
It's good to have this experience. And it is a beautiful country. Let's open again for 3 more questions. Who wants to share something with the team here?
Hello. One question that came up on the previous session, but I think it's important here. is what about women inclusion in the lineups and in the organizations? I see an all-male panel, and I think it's a very key question. My question would be, because on the last session, the person who was replying to this kind of put the responsibility on women. And I'm convinced that we have to make it together. Like, we have to make the change together. And what would be the things that you are doing to include women, and the things that you are doing that go against that, even if it's not on purpose? So maybe reflect on that.
I don't know how many festivals you've been a part of, but yeah, it's an all-male panel up here, but at a lot of the festivals I've worked at, a lot of the stuff behind the scenes is getting done by women because they're a bit more organized than us. And so they might not be up here, but for sure, one of my partners in the festival is a woman, and one of the co-founders is a woman, and most of the people in the office and running the ops on the technical admin side are women. So, and then as far as the music side goes, it's like we definitely put an effort into trying to find the musicians that are females, and we do an okay job, but it's definitely more males out there doing that work for whatever reason. And so, but just because it's all males up here, it's like there's a lot of females that are running the show, really.
Same, by the way, with Doof. We have big staff of women behind us, and they do all the hard work. We only come here to talk, but they do the hard work.
Yeah, I think it's a deeper question than that. You're talking about integration of minorities. It's about social justice. I think in Boom we do our part. For instance, the special needs camp, the integration of women is in many parts of the lineup, but also, as they say, a lot of the production teams are actually, a lot of them based by women. But I also would like to question this differently. How many African people we have? How many Asians we have? How many, I don't know, what is the ethnic diversity in lineups? But is that what we want to say? Is that only because you have class A, B, or C, you should be in the forefront? I think this is like a kind of, let's say, European plastic social policy that, as we all know, has given really bad results nowadays. You can see what is happening all over Europe. This sense of integration through class has a big problem. And I think we should reflect deeply about it, because as they say, a lot of the work that we all see here, artists, builders, production, finances, it's mostly also women as well. So let's go deeper, let's look deeper and think about social integration and social policy. I think it's much deeper than that.
I wanted also, I'm agreed with everything said, but also we need to be proud and we need to be happy, because electronic music scene and also Psytrance scene is the first underground movement that shifted. Like before, I also said I'm coming from a punk scene and from anarcho-punk scene, and there, when you see in a mosh pit, when the dance is pogo, you don't see women. Here you see the integration of women in every part. First, in electronic dance music shifted from sexuality to sensuality. So here the woman is sensual, she's not sexual object anymore. So we need to be happy. When you go around and see how people interact between each other, we really need to be proud, because women in Psytrance scene, in electronic dance music, isn't sexual object anymore. And that is the biggest improvement, biggest step forward in underground music scene from the beginning till today.
Very nice. I agree completely. 2 more questions, guys.
Hello? Yes, hi.
Where are you?
Here, right here.
Where?
The left. See me now? Everybody there, I'd like to thank you really from the bottom of my heart, and I'm sure from everybody here in the crowd, for how much dedication and passion and all the barriers and all the hard work that you guys do for the Psytrance scene and for the world in general. I just want to thank you, so thank you.
Thank you also for you guys, and I think I talk on the behalf of everyone, for being such an amazing group of people that makes this movement so lively. It's an amazing crowd from people from all over the world, and nothing can beat this, absolutely. So, 2 more questions then.
Hello. Hi. I'd like to thank you for your positive contributions to humanity and keep doing what you're doing. I've been to several festivals around Europe, psychedelic festivals, and I've also traveled the length and breadth of India, and I couldn't help spotting the similarities. I've met dozens of people that come to psychedelic festivals and also go to rainbow gatherings that are kind of like nomadic types, live off the grid, and live off, they hitchhike everywhere, go from festival to gathering, and they live off scraps and handouts. And it's not dissimilar to the way that sadhus live in India. They live off in the forests and in caves, and they congregate at gatherings and holy festivals. Do you think that there could be a possible shift more towards that in psychedelic festivals, or what? I mean, at Ozora Festival, I even saw a bunch of these kind of nomadic types cover themselves in ashes from the fire, and they were full on naked, and it was like a scene straight out from India. And here it's kind of like people bathing in the Ganges.
Who wants to tell something? You have the Mother Experience dance floor if you want to see a bit more in the sacred fire. Want to talk about it? I think, I mean, you talk about similarities between India, or about rituals, or about rites of passage. I think it's all about, like, say, anthropological perspectives about how festival culture is. I think for sure one of the main traits about psychedelic festivals is that there is absolutely a timeline and a resonance with ancestral knowledges and ancestral rites. Shamanism, for instance, our team, the way people dress, the way people think, the substances, the ideas, the mythology, the narratives. It's not only an exclusive thing of psychedelic festivals. Actually, there was this guy in Canada that coined this term transformational festivals. And he summed up all these influences that we see in the history of mankind being, let's say, developed through contemporary people. Probably because we are, most of us, living in an urban environment, and we need to go back to trace back our roots, and festivals create this inclusive platform where everything it goes into surface. And I think everyone here in this table, we just try to create the conditions for the best out of each one of the citizens in festivals, develop them and connect with something higher. I think on this perspective, for sure there are a lot of similarities with what you can see with the detached traditions from India or elsewhere, or Amazonia or elsewhere in the world.
Yeah, I think time is the major key to factor. You're talking about 6,000 plus years of culture in India versus 20, 30 years here in this type of culture. So I think over time you're going to see more of that kind of ritual or thing happening at these types of gatherings, and the seriousness of that more ritual, spiritual thing. I think it's going to naturally come up more and more. I mean, Burning Man's like 27 years in, and it's pretty serious. It's a psychedelic festival, and there's the whole temple burn and everything like that. And I think that's only going to evolve naturally within this community and culture over time. If Boom is still happening in 120 years, it's like what is this going to evolve to beyond us? And so that's the real question. So we'll see. Or our ancestrals will see.
Who else want to make some question? We have one. Okay, let's do 2 more then.
Hi. I was wondering if sustainability, like if it is a big part of all of your festivals. I actually don't know all of them. And in my experience, like Psytrance was not always linked to like taking care of nature nationally, like in all the events that I've been to. So I'm wondering if it is really important and how you tackle it. And it's also like if you make a massive festival, we have a lot of challenging problems like the travel of all the people in terms of sustainability, inclusion as well that you were tackling. So it's like a really wide spectrum. And I was wondering if you like share experiences on that, and if it is a theme or like a topic for all of you.
Well, I can speak for Symbiosis that we started off as ecology and sustainability being a core aspect of our gathering. Just a couple years ago, we went through all our past promo and all our past copy, and then we just looked at the words that were prominent. It was like eco and psychedelic were the two most common words that we've ever put out to the world, and so we kind of coined ourselves. We're like kind of ecodelic is what we're doing. It's just trying to spread that knowledge of how to be sustainable, how to bring that education and consciousness out there, and do our best. And the more you go down that rabbit hole of like how can we be more sustainable, it's just like it's exactly that. It's a rabbit hole. There's like so many areas where there's waste, and you're realizing every step you take, you're stepping on animals, and just being conscious of that is the biggest aspect, and understanding that you're burning diesel fuel to listen to this music, and all the people who are wherever you're getting that oil from and working in those mines, and to build the generators and just give thanks for all the things that have happened to put all these things together. There's the builders that are here, but then there's the factory workers, and there's the people who got the steel to put the spikes in the ground to hold up the shade structure. It's like it goes beyond the eco aspect. It's the social aspect, and where we're pulling all these resources from developing nations to have the cost down so the tickets can be cheap enough so people would actually come to listen to the DJs that are getting paid too much.
Yeah, I can talk about Boom, then you can talk. Basically, we have for sure sustainability is at one of the core principles of our festival, because it makes no sense you bring people from all over the world to the nature and there is no attention. And we divide in many areas. Water, we have a water filtering system there with plants. We have compost toilets. The outputs of the toilets, they are stored and then they are analyzed, and then we put it back to the nature. We have, as you can see, for instance, here we are using natural materials. This is cardboard, is upcycling of cardboard that we cut in CNC. A lot of the bamboo you see here has been used and reused all over again since 2006. We have a lift chair. We have the Boom by Bike initiative. I mean, we try as much as possible to lower the impact. We have edible gardens. Most of the food that we give to our workers during the time is made in our organic food garden. We always try to buy local as much as possible, although Portugal is not an easy place to do. There is mandatory biodegradable cutlery in the restaurants. I mean, it's a never-ending story. For sure, we have an impact. From the moment we leave, we have an impact, but I think the most important is people do the effort. I think most of the people here, sometimes we question, should we pay a bit more to an artist or should we invest in sustainability? And I think everybody here many times don't question it. People have this care. I can say this to everyone.
Well, I must say that when we only just started, we didn't really pay attention too much to it. And still coming to Europe and looking at these festivals here, I'm always impressed, especially in Boom, and when I see all this effort that's been done. We're going there, but slowly, slowly.
Hadra also have an...
Yeah, it's quite important also for Hadra. We're trying to put more ecology inside the festival. We had some toilet compost, and we push people to share cars to come to the festival. We also apply to the European contest for ecology festival. It's called the Greener Festival Awards. And but we still have a budget problem, like you say. Should we pay more artists or should we put more compost toilet? It's always difficult to decide, but we are on it. We're working on it.
One more question, and then we will talk about where we see the future and present of Psytrance.
I have a question. How do you cope with people who wants to go to the festival, but they're not in time to buy the tickets? How can you spread the festival to everybody? Because like Boom, it gone sold out like really fast. How can you cope? How can you spread this love to everybody?
How do you spread the love to everyone? Thanks for hanging. Marketing. I mean, I've no idea other than it's accessible to everyone, but they have to be on it themselves. You can't spoon feed people. They need to take responsibility for their own actions. And if you've got mates who want here, you need to maybe give them a nudge to get their tickets. I can't think of any other answer.
I think what you have to also understand is that, and especially it is, I mean, it now with Boom limiting the tickets, but I think any organizer who thinks beyond just the income, they need to be aware of what the environment and what the location can hold. So it might be great for a promoter, and it might be a goal to get as many people in. But if you think consciously of what the place can hold and what the quality will be, you might just take a step back and maybe perhaps allow a little bit less people in. And it's unfortunate some people are not able to attend a great festival like Boom, but I think we all agree that quality is always over quantity.
So, I'm a Boom ambassador for Croatia also, and I know what was the pressure on me, because we got so many, not so many, but less in numbers, the tickets. The pressure was big, but in the end it paid out. Because at Modern Festival we had one sold out year, because in one moment we saw we couldn't manage it. So we closed the door, and there is always this, should we take more money, but then you realize there is not enough toilets, there is not enough. For Boom, for me it's a really heavy, really hard decision, but really fair one. So maybe, I know I started to write so many things I want to send to Boom people after this festival, because I think from my point of view it's a work in process. I think they need to change something, they need to see what was wrong, so in 2 years I think it's going to be perfect. So
thank you. Shall I talk about it? No? Basically for us, first, we don't have an imperialist perspective. We don't want to convert people. We don't want to spread a big message, and we for sure don't want to create the Boomland for millions of people. We want to create a space where people can resonate with each other, with the comfort, with quality, and where the sense of being in part of a family is still very prevalent. And this is why we limited the space. Also, nature has an impact. We have an impact in the lake. We have impact on the trees. And for us, it was a tough decision, but it pays out, because I think the quality that we can give here with less people is much better than the quality that we could give with much more people. I think if we would keep ticket sales, probably would sell like 60 to 80,000 tickets easy, because there was a lot of requests. And this is not the way we for sure look at Boom. We want just to have a good group of people, and we for sure don't believe in growth as a measure of success. This is the most important for us. So talking about ideals, I think we can do a last round here, and before we make the final round to questions. Where do we all see the present and the future of Psytrance? We all come from the dance floor experience. We are all fans of Psytrance. As I said before, contrary to most of the music styles, it's very, very common for you to see a DJ playing and then being in the dance floor dancing along you. He's not going to be the guy arriving in a private jet, playing and go out. This is absolutely a family. This is a group of people that share the lifestyle that we all love, between artists, decorators, builders, promoters, etc. But things also change. I mean, Psytrance, as we know, is now reaching his 2 decades. If we count with the Dragonfly, the first releases of Dragonfly as the pivotal moments. And most of us have been looking at the changes. We've been witnessing the changes of the crowd, the changes of the music, the changes of the behavior. So I would like to start with you, Val, and we go in this way. In which way you evaluate the present and the future of the scene we are all putting all our energy into?
Oh, heavy question. I don't know. Love to let the things just go, because there is a lot of mixture. Everything is like I'm hearing James Monroe playing there. So in the before it was it couldn't be that techno and trance would mix, and now they mix, and not now, but years ago they mixed. So I don't want to be square. I want to be open, and I want to see where it's going. I don't know. I want to say the boom is really big inspiration, and you think like something is not possible, then you see it's possible. So, if I want to say from a point of modem, this year we made something. I don't know. Maybe I'm not so traveling a lot, but first time I saw it, we made the stage on a main stage DJ booth in a central. There wasn't a DJ. In the central was a really big. Interactive decoration, and we had 2 DJ booths from the left and from the right, and in one moment in the night you couldn't see a DJ at all. So a lot of people coming, why? People don't see me. I don't know. We need to lose. I love in Psytrance scene when I see. I don't want to say names. I see some of the legends. I grew up with some of the legends of trance scene. I see them sitting here. And I know the Psytrance is. I love it because of this. Because some of the people I grew up, now I can speak with them. I see them sleeping in a tent next to mine. The trance scene needs to lose its ego, and this is the biggest. I think the biggest thing. The boom and festivals here is we need to lose the ego, and we need to more communicate. This is the real power, and this is the reason I got in love with the trance music, psychedelic trance music. Let's see what future brings.
Thanks, Val. I've got nothing to say now. I'm not going to say who I'm going to quote, but he basically said, the people who are crazy to think they can change the world are the ones who do, and I'm just going to leave it at that.
The only constant is change. It's obviously going to keep changing. I see Psytrance growing everywhere I go and hear about. We've got artists on the label which are, traveling all the time, and we're hearing stories of new festivals popping up. So I only see growth. I think the more communication from those of us who've been doing it for a long time, I think that's what this is great. I was just hearing about it at panels on last year, and people were saying, well, the last edition, and they were watching that, and you don't realize how much effect this can have. And now with digital media, these ideas that we're sharing, hopefully new promoters, new artists can approach it in the right way. We were talking about, as promoters, as festival producers, looking for venues being such an issue. That's just within a local communities, talking about Origin Festival or Cape Town, with so many festivals and events happening around there, it was always dangerous if someone else comes in and just doesn't treat the local community right, and now suddenly you come a month later, do your event, and they're out of there. So with this kind of communication here, I think is so key that that people get the right message and start work together. We've been lucky in Cape Town that it's a close-knit scene, and promoters do talk. Don't always get on, but we always talk one way or another. And in fact, that's normally the women who are talking. And every single event has a woman right up there. It's not most of the events in Cape Town, a husband and wife team, and the women keep it together. When the boys' egos get out of check, and that's it. And so with that in mind, it'll keep on growing. I think, but if you keep it positive, it'll go in the right direction.
I feel like the scene is going to continue to grow and going to sprout up new festivals and new parties and people dancing in the forest all over the world. The music will just evolve. It will turn from, it's just over the last 15 years or so since I've been listening to psychedelic trance. It's changed a lot, and the sounds or the names, the labels that people say, oh, this is that or this is that. The people really get into it, so it's going to change. It's going to evolve into something different over time, and I'm excited to see how that is, because it's fun to hear different types of music and different styles, and it's also good to get your dance on to just that nice beat. So I don't know, it's going to evolve.
Well, I do think that on a social level, the people are more and more open. So as Val was saying, in the past, there was this really orthodoxy. Well, you are techno, you are house, you are psytrance, but it was also on all different styles, because they were very young styles, so the collective identity was quite strong. And we've been witnessing that people are more and more open to different music styles, which is good, because psychedelic music is probably the most, let's say, long-lasting psychedelic, long-lasting attribute or characteristic in modern music. You have psychedelic jazz, psychedelic funk, psychedelic punk, psychedelic rock, techno, house, whatever. And these will keep mutating. And we believe we are a festival of psychedelic culture, and for sure we can integrate all these perspectives, and we see how much receptiveness people have into different art forms, different music, but at the same time, how also people can change and they can be embedded in the psychedelic message of freedom and awareness and conscious change. On the other side, festivals are getting better and better everywhere. Everywhere in the world, productions are getting more thick. It's more art, more people. And for us, the most important is that the new generations come with the basis. And this is why actually we are doing this Psytrance convention, because there is no growth without a base. There is no expansion without grounding. And it's very important that we don't commit the same mistakes. I agree with Val, there is a lot of ego going on, a lot of people that adore some artists and put some ego on top of things. We have already the Rolling Stones of Psytrance, people that don't release nothing and they keep playing and they keep charging more money. And we don't see that as a psychedelic thing at all. So most importantly is be very aware about the roots so that the scene can expand properly.
Well, if you will ask me this question a few years back, I would say, well, I don't think the Psytrance really gonna kick off for many more years. And I think there was a point, maybe 6-7 years ago, when, in my perspective, things were not going really well, because I remember ourselves as coming like huge groups to festivals, and then people start to have babies, and they start to travel less and things like that. And I would see that the festivals going a bit slower and slower. And then a few years after, which leads us to now pretty much, you see all the young generation join in, which is an essential thing for the trance. And this is one of my best experiences, just to see how the scene is changing all the time. So as I see it now, there's waves. Okay, some people getting out of the scene, but lucky us, more people getting in the scene. So of course the scene is not exactly the same. It's changing. It's changing its path and everything, but it's growing and it's psychedelic and it's beautiful.
Thank you.
I would say that it's mixing more and more. The music side and the artistic side, and everything is mixing, and I would say as long as it stays psychedelic, then we are on the good path.
I just wanted to say, in France it's getting very big, it's growing and growing. I just hope we won't lose the mind of psychedelic culture, because in France we got some promoters that just saw they could make money with all these people going to party. And for France, I just hope one day we have such a nice festival like Boom Festival. We have a new location this year with a small lake, so let's start it.
Good luck, good luck. So 3 questions. And then we are done. It has been really a really funny one, this one, and very positive. I hope you guys are enjoying. We know it's very hot inside.
I wanted to ask about the differences in the time to get into the festivals, because it's not just related to the amount of people getting in. There is still like really different organizations, and for example, the Boom really have a reputation of waiting 3 days to get in and stuff like that. And yeah, just like how you try to improve this each festival.
I can talk on the behalf of Boom. For sure, we have a huge problem, or not a problem, is a new opportunity for people to make more friends. But yeah, basically, we are kind of, there is a crowd management situation around, which is not under our control. But at the same time, there is a geophysics of this space. And we only have one road to come inside this land. And this road is very tiny. It's the only public road that have access to the land, which is this dirt road over there. And what we've been trying to do, for instance, this edition, the festival official opening is on the 11th. We allowed people to come in on the 10th, and we opened the main gate on the 7th, so that we had more time to process all these people. And then we had some pre-parks. For sure, this is one of the things that is like a systemic issue in our organization, and we will keep on trying to improve it, for sure. But a key element on this is geophysics. We can't open more roads for people to access this festival, unless we make like a motorway on top of the lake, but we can't.
I think, I don't know where I'm talking to. There you are. I think also the advancement of technology and the use of technology could actually help in getting, I've seen the Boom experiment with some technology, so I think it might get better within time, which is obviously good news for you guys.
More questions? How many festival promoters there are here in this room? Can you? All right. Well done, guys. Who else? Good luck. Where is it? So we have time to 2 more questions, and then we have to finish because
Hello?
there is more events going on.
So I'm a producer of a small festival. It's an urban festival in Lisbon. It has nothing to do with Psytrance, but it's a passion, of course. I don't do it for money. And I think Boom, and I speak for my colleagues, is a completely breakthrough festival in a lot of ways. And one of the things that really intrigues me, or that I was amazed, was the fact that all your tickets are sold online. So you know exactly the names and the ages and the countries of origin of everybody here. And I think that's amazing, because I think it never happened before. I don't see any other event which so many people, where the organizers know exactly everybody here. I don't know what is your data usage of that. It would be a marketeer's dream, I think. It's not the case, I know. It's not the case, but but it's funny. It's just a remark.
It's not new. It's going on for several years now. But actually, we have also ambassador tickets. So some of the tickets are sold to the website, and the other ones are in the ambassadors, although now they are also digital.
Yeah, that's the thing, because we used to be able to buy it in ambassadors like a normal ticket, and nowadays it has your name attached to it also.
Basically, it's to prevent scams.
Yeah.
What we saw last edition, and actually it is one of the issues that we have to improve, because last edition we saw people that bought tickets and they were selling it for 10 times more price. And this is one of the ways that we have to prevent people to be scammed, basically. For sure, there is a long way to go, but the data usage, we don't do for nothing. It's just a matter of, it's okay, for sure, there is some data there. The only thing we do is we look at the age group and the nationalities, country of residence or country of birth. We don't have this data mining perspective about our crowd.
Yeah. That's great. Thank you. Hi.
You guys have more. The other also have digital tickets, no? There is more digital. Everybody here has digital tickets. It's nothing new, actually.
Hello. I was wondering about to me, this is my second boom. My experience with it at the side of drug usage has been quite fantastic in the sense that I don't see a lot of like wasted people who are acting all aggressive, and there's the cosmic care, there's the entire atmosphere around it. To me feels like appropriate drug usage and experimentation and experience. I feel like globally there's a lot of room for improvement, and there's a lot to be learned from how drug experimentation consumption here is happening. I was wondering if you, the organizers, try to have some active influence on policy in your regions or countries. How do you interact with that? How do you do that?
Well, I can tell you that in Israel, people like to take drugs, and they do it a lot. And coming to the festival, you cannot really control who brings what and who takes what. The only thing you can do is just give them some water and have a safe zone for people who's flipping out, like you have here, probably, yeah. And this is the main thing that we can contribute and do. Unfortunately, once in a while, some people are really flipping out hard. Also, in the festival, also sometimes out of the festival, and then we have to deal with it, and we try to let the people know. But we don't really do any education out of the festival.
I think there is one thing is helping this is the limit ticket and pre-sale, because everybody here bought the ticket online, they are waiting for it, and there are no wasting people. If there are still some ticket to sell at the door, everybody can come, but I think it's helping to have only good people at the festival, this pre-sale system.
In Cape Town, we've tried to educate people as much as possible. I'm sure we could do more as well. We've done booklets, have safe spaces, and accredited people there to help people. But we have also been fortunate enough to speak to people, higher up in municipalities and that kind of thing. And we've even got to a point where we got booklets sponsored by local government, which is not the policy in Cape Town or South Africa at all. Portugal's got this amazing policy, and we don't have that there. But we have been able to, by doing approaching people in an open, honest way, get their feedback and get their help behind us, even if essentially they shouldn't be legally, but for who they work for. But we've doing our bit, and there's been a lot of discussion online with that as well, and it's helped. It really has helped.
Unfortunately, in Croatia, harm reduction approach was almost criminalized. So we just try not to judge, try to give the people experience, not to judge them, give them something like cosmic care, instruct our medical care not to be too judgmental, to help the people. And I don't know, in Croatia, the government and the police saw just in drugs, for them it's just a fee. If you get caught, you pay some fee, I don't know, 400, 500 euros, and they send you back to the festival in the same vehicle they arrested you. So it's really hard for us if we were talking about maybe doing some more harm reduction, but then you throw yourself at the spotlight, and with all the stigma and going on, so it's evolving. We're learning, we're trying to do something, but it's a learning process.
We do the cosmic care and rangers and stuff for people who are getting a little bit out of hand, but in general we don't have that so much. We do the drug testing in the United States, which is a police state, those of you who haven't been there or do live there. But we don't tell anybody about it, and we just do it, and it seems to work. We don't really promote it very well, but it seems to get used as word of mouth around the event site. One of the things that the latest event site that we've had, the local police, after the first event, they told me, they're like, because we didn't sell alcohol, it's one thing for going all night, with doing all night music, it's harder to sell alcohol. So after doing the event once, we were like, okay, can we sell alcohol now? And the main sheriff was sitting in the office with me, and he said, well, I saw a lot of people doing a lot of drugs at your festival. If you want us to just let them keep doing drugs, we're not going to let you sell alcohol. And I was like, okay. So we don't sell alcohol. And so it's like working with the government and doing what we have to do.
Last question, guys.
Okay. Okay, you've spoken about how ecologically involved most of the festivals you organize are. I'd be interested to know if any of your festivals are explicitly related to political activism in any way. I know Boom is, which is, I'm sure I always say this, I love saying this on the microphone, I think we really deserve to say it's the best festival in the world. And thank you for everything that you do.
Thanks for saying, but we are very humble on this. Everybody does a lot of amazing work out there.
I get you. However, so my question is, in the way of political activism, is there anything that you sort of promote explicitly? You say, in this direction we want to go, we want to advance or help create this or that. Thank you.
So in Croatia there is a saying, politiku svoju butigu. It means leave your politics at home. So I don't know, I don't want to go in, the only politics here is, I think I'm speaking in everyone's name. There is no racism, there is no homophobia, there is no mistreating of a woman or anything else. I don't know, I really like the no flag policy this year. We are one nation, we are one people here, so I really like it. I don't know why I would never put out the flag or any national symbols, because I don't know, but also I love the statistic to see where the people are coming from. I really love to sit and eat in Central Plaza, and when I see the Balkans speaking, I'm jumping from where are you and stuff like this. This is a melting pot, so I don't know. I don't want to talk. I'm a really political, but I don't want to talk about politics because we can fight. I don't know. There is so many nicer team. Let's talk about sex, not about politics.
I mean, for sure, when you see the NGO, Django, or the Ecotech Hub, they are very strong political based situation. Actually, there is one stand here from an NGO that is fighting against fracking that these stupid politicians want to do in southern Portugal. But I think we should also not make confusion between politics and partidarism, because a lot of what these guys and what we are all doing is a political act. Doing a festival can be a political act. Playing Psytrance can be a political act, because you are playing for people to be more aware. And I think putting big things small, I think in many ways what we are all doing, and many artists around the world, is also a political act, not a partidaristic act, let's say. So, Tristan, a good example of what we have been talking about, that people that play, they are in the middle of the crowd. And actually 2 editions ago, he was also here discussing in a panel. So welcome. Do you want to share something with us?
Thanks. I want to ask a question to you guys. I wonder what's your estimate of the worldwide number of people attending psychedelic trance events? And that's the first question. Secondly, one of the amazing things about the Boom is you provide people with the tools to evolve their consciousness and go away and live a more alternative, conscious form of living. Do you think the total number of people that we all constitute have the power to change the attitudes of society at large?
So I can talk about Boom, and then you guys can talk about the numbers. I think we can put, like all the changes, they start small. And I think the seeds we can put, we have been witnessing for the last almost 20 years that there is a lot of transformation going on. And I think we are just one more, let's say, flame to burn in the hearts of so many people with the tools, with the experiences. But again, we are very humble on this. We just provide the space. We walk the talk for sure. A lot of people here on our team, they live here, they grow their own food. There are a lot of people that work and people that have been working with us for the last years. They really live this alternative way that we are also advocating here. And most importantly, is the setting that we create with your music, with their art, with the vibe of these people that really inspires people. Because in the end, we are just, let's say, the platform, and everybody contributes to this change.
Well, I can say in my vision, but also I can see it happens in Israel. As I said before, Israeli people can be quite aggressive in many aspects because we grew up into these conflicts. And I really see, by going to parties and going to festivals and spread the rumor of the festivals, people are getting more into dancing and caring and put their energy in that direction and not in like fighting or whatever. So yeah, it's a small thing, but it's important.
I definitely think that as a global community, we are making a difference. There's transformation happening all the time. I think the culture of empathy that these events produce is something that that just constantly keeps growing. I've seen transformation in Cape Town. I've seen transformation amongst all kinds of groups of people. When you're talking about leaving the ego behind as well, it's important when new people come into the scene don't get affronted by that because maybe it's their first party and they haven't got the Goa pants on or whatever it might be. They just welcome them, get them in here, get more and more in here, and let's spread the love. And I think it is changing. It's a small drop in the ocean. I think I've heard estimates of maybe globally there's maybe 1 million of us, really, when it comes down to it, by friends who are data analysts online and this kind of stuff. So we're tiny, actually, but little ones can crack on through and make a difference. I think if we all just keep on doing that, we can make a difference, as a group and just as individuals as well.
Anyone else? It's fine? Okay, guys, so we've been talking about what are the challenges of festival organizers. We've been talking about the vision, the perspectives to the future, in which way we look at the present. But mostly we've been talking about how we and you have a huge passion about this scene that is planetary, that is global, and that we all believe that can make a real change in the world. So thank you so much for coming, and we hope you have an amazing boom. And thank you so much for all these guys that put so much work. Thank you to all the artists that participate, and once again, thank you to all these guys that put so much love and passion into their own festivals. Thank you.